How old was he when he started stomping on people and
He was
taking
20.
over the world? 20?
He was 20 years old when he became king of Macedon, and he was 32 when he died.
Jesus.
So yeah, I'm now 3 years older than Alexander was when he died. He conquered the entire known world basically by that point. So
that's
not a bad career.
That's pretty badass. Oh, I was reading about that. There's like some emperor named like Elagabalus.
Oh, Elagabalus, yeah.
Elagabalus, yeah. And everybody like says like how horrible of a king he was and everything, or how horrible of an emperor. And like I'm reading through his stuff, and he like became an emperor when he was like 14, and they're like he was just doing so many like crazy sexual things. I'm like, oh, you put a 14-year-old.
I mean, seriously.
Of course, that's what he's gonna do. They were like, he was like marrying Vestal Virgins and shit.
Yeah, really.
Which is like, duh. Like I'd be doing like if you say I have absolute power and like
you're 14 years old. I mean, yeah.
Show me the pussy I can't fuck. That lady, I'm doing it. All right, I'm marrying her. Like that's all I would do. I'm absolutely not surprised that he only. That.
Oh yeah, I mean, even like we only have a few portraits of the guy because, of course, he was condemned after he died, and they broke all the statues. But he looks 14. He's got this like wispy mustache,
kind of like this.
And he was from Syria
too.
And yeah, exactly. I mean, I thought it was really cool with that, the facial hair rocking. But so he's from Syria, and he's also the high priest of this kind of orgiastic cult. Of the god Elagabalus, that's where his name comes from. So you pretty much put the orgiastic priest of a sun cult in charge of an empire who's 14 years old. This is what happens.
Yeah, wow. Good gosh.
So he like grew up with that, like
exactly. Like he was raised to be like the priest king of this, city Emesa, and then became emperor unexpectedly, and no one was ready for what happened next.
Unexpectedly.
How did his reign end? Like what? How long did it last?
He ruled for 4 years, actually, or almost 4 years.
Okay.
And then he was very murdered.
Yeah,
as one expects. It was surprising us that long, to be honest. But his family was very powerful and less crazy than he was, and so that kind of kept him in power longer. Okay. And they pay the soldiers. That always helps. Pay the troops, and everyone's kind of on board.
God.
So like were orgies like it seems like that was a very common thing for emperors, and then all of a sudden this guy does it and he's like a bad dude. What's up with that?
Well, there are orgies and there are orgies. I mean, it's more of a.
This guy was next. He was like in the BDSM.
We have this. Yeah, right. We have
like
this image of Rome that kind of comes from Hollywood, where it's kind of just a nonstop, orgy, debauchery, bacchanal, you name it, and that happened, no question. But most emperors at least found it prudent to project an image where they're not, raving sociopath, debauched lunatics.
All right, let's shoot this person back at the tree at my house.
At the house party. Right, exactly. And Elagabalus didn't really get the message on that. He kind of missed the memo and, was very publicly the priest king of an orgiastic sun cult in the middle of Rome.
Okay. So Vestal Virgins, were they like the nuns of their days?
Sort of. I mean, there's only 6 of them at any given time. There might be far fewer than you would think. And they actually can marry after 30 years. So that they become
married after you're not.
Well, they're yeah, really. I guess if you're into that, But they're elected, they're chosen very young from the best families in Rome, and they're trained, and they go through these rituals. But yeah, they're after 30 years, they're home free. They can do whatever they want. They can marry, they can go out, and they're often very wealthy because they come from these rich families. They kind of set up a house, can have house parties, with the Vestal Virgins or former Vestal Virgin.
Cool.
So yeah, they're part-time nuns. They serve their time, then they're out.
Like sorority girls, my God.
Right? Yeah.
God.
Damn.
Rome rocks. History rocks. Yeah.
If you're a boy empress or Vestal Virgin, there are good. There are ways to do it.
My God, I've never heard of him.
Yeah, he's pretty obscure. You kind of only hear about him because of the strange stuff he did. Yeah. And we don't know again the source problem because everyone hated him. And we have these later sources like, well, did he actually do this ridiculous thing or something kind of like it, but not quite as ridiculous? Yeah. Like supposedly he had like a bunch of pet tigers, or I should say they're leopards, who he would just unleash on guests at parties, but they were all defanged. So they couldn't kill anybody. They would just jump on them.
Oh,
It's just
God,
like
that's so
giant house.
horrifying. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
The prank.
That's kind of badass, though.
That is-
Well, I mean,
A little bit of
defanging a
heart
leopard
response.
isn't badass, but then once
Yeah,
it's
right.
done,
They just got a pack
Yeah.
of defanged leopards to
yeah,
follow them
just
around.
gummy.
Right,
And
gummy
they're
leopards,
no
yeah.
claws too. They're just
Dumbing on this dick.
Yeah,
Like,
I'd
what the
imagine
hell are
it'd
they
be
doing
fun,
with
too.
this
They
shit?
can't, like, savage people.
Christ.
So he's nicer than Tyson. I think Mike Tyson's tiger took
Right.
someone's arm off or something.
Did he?
Yeah, exactly. You know, I mean,
Get a tiger?
Yeah,
Yeah,
he had a
haven't you
tiger.
seen The Hangover?
Yeah. According to the documentary film, The Hangover.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.